Here with Coach Steve Sarkisian from the University of Texas. Coach, going into year two, you were talking about how everybody kind of has the the established culture and expectations. What is different between maybe summer and spring year one and summer and spring year two?
Well, I think the biggest thing in year one is you're trying to instill, right, the core values in your program. You're trying to instill the schemes, the fundamentals, the techniques that are needed to try to perform in our systems and in our program. Year two, now you can start to dig a little deeper and get into the nuances of those things. And just even now, talking to the guys that are here with me today that are veteran players that have been in this program now for 18 months, they can talk about it. They're talking about, man, there's such an understanding now of not just what my job is, but what the guy's job is next to me or what the guy's job is behind me. And now I know why it's important to do the things, whether it's on or off the field, for the program and for the sake of us being successful.
You know, you kind of talked a little bit about self-scouting and what you learned about yourself after year one, or some things that you would have done differently. How important is that as a coach to always kind of look inward, not only at your team, but at your coaching staff, at yourself, and kind of figure out, what you're doing, what you're not doing?
Well, I value it. I value it every Sunday. I value, I look at every play call I make, and sometimes it may result in a touchdown, and I'll think, man, that really wasn't a great play call, but we're always trying to evolve. We're always trying to get better, so that if a situation arises similar to it, what would we do differently? And if I don't do that, then I'm probably not living up to the standard of what's needed of me as a head coach at the University of Texas. So I'm always self-evaluating. Then I'm always evaluating those around me and having open and honest conversations about how we need to improve and then how we're going to get there.
I always hear coaches talking about programs transitioning from coach-led to player-led. Do you feel like y'all are closer to that right now than you were this time last year?
Yeah, I really do. I think we're much closer. I think that I wouldn't say we're closer. I think we're there. I think we've got players in place in our program now that are in position that understand the expectation and that can speak the language, right, of what we're speaking. And it's interesting. We're in a unique state because I've got 57 of my 85 scholarships as freshmen or sophomores on our team. But yet those remaining players on our roster, right, those 28 other players, those guys are there for a reason because they have really bought in. They're good players, they're good people, the graduates, things of that nature that they can extend and kind of reach out to those younger players to show them the way. And then that's when you really got something cooking, when the players are coaching the other players on and off the field. Now we've got a chance to do something special.
We cover a lot of high school football at Dave Campbell's. You've coached in a lot of different states. What makes high school football unique in Texas, and how much is it an advantage to be the coach of the University of Texas in a state that cares so much about that?
Well, I think one of the things that is unique, everywhere you go around the country, there's pride, to some capacity of pride in their program, their local program. In the state of Texas, everywhere you go, there is pride in that high school's football program. And it doesn't matter if they're 6A or 1A. When you show up to that stadium, there are thousands of people at that game. An entire town will be at a game to watch their team play. And I just think that is what is so cool and so unique. I think the other side of it, too, is the investment that everybody makes in their programs, right? From facilities to putting their players in the best position to be successful to hiring of coaches. There are great coaches in the state of Texas, and they work at their craft. They want to be really good at it, and in turn, their players get developed. And so there's a lot of positives to this thing, but football is no more important than anywhere in the world than the great state of Texas, and we're fortunate to be the flagship program. That when the University of Texas shows up to watch a game or come to a practice or go to a school, everybody knows it and everybody's excited we're there.
Lastly, before you go, I know you play golf, I play golf. I wonder, what's your handicap?
It's not great. It's not great. I'm about a 14.
Yeah. Well, if you're any better, then you're playing too much golf.
Well,
probably.
I say it all the time when anybody plays me. Do you want a great golfer or do you want a great football coach?
Right.
Most people I play with would prefer the great football coach.
That makes sense. All right, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Guys, be good.
Absolutely.